Hello, students. This is Geeta Sheoran, and this is part 2 of Master Cader lectures. In first video, we talked about Edmund Spencer's works, epithets, and now uh, we are going to know about the summary of the works of Edmund Spencer. So the first work summary we have done already, and this is second work of Edmund Spencer, and the title of the second work is Complaint. Complaint is a collection of 9 sundry poems. Sundry means small poems of the world vanities. So you can see on your screen that Complaint is a collection of 9 small poems. And which are these poems? The first is Ruins of Time. Ruins of Time is the first poem of this collection. The second is The Tears of the Muses. And how many muses are there in Tears of Muses? So these are 9 muses in this. The third is Virgil's Net. Prosporia or the Other Hubbard's Tale is the fourth poem. Fifth is Ruins of Rome. Sixth is Fate of Butterfly or Neopotamus. Seventh is Vision of the World Vanity, Vision of the Belly, and the Vision of the Patriarch. These 9 poems are there in this collection, and it is important to remember only the title of these poems. Now, the third work is Amority. Amority is a collection of 89 poems, and in these 89 poems, 88 are sonnets, and one is a short poem. And these sonnets are written in patriarchal form, patriarchal sonnet, and we have talked about patriarchal sonnets and the rhyme scheme of patriarchal sonnets in previous video. So this is written in patriarchal sonnets, and it was dedicated to Spencer's wife Elizabeth Boyle. So these are important point to remember for this work. Another work is Epithalamion. Epithalamion is an ode. It is an ode. It is important point to remember that Epithalamion is an ode, and it is too dedicated to his wife, and it was published as title of Amority and Epithalamion. So it is the point to focus on that it was first published as the collection of Amority and Epithalamion, and in this 89 sonnets of Amority and plus one ode of Epithalamion was there. So total 90 poems was there in this title, Amority and Epithalamion. Then it was called Nuptial Song. It is very important point, and once a question was there in net exam from this point that what is epithalamion, so answer was the Nuptial Song. Nuptial Song is the epithalamion. Now the question arises, what is Nuptial Song? So Nuptial Song is basically a marriage song. Nuptial Song is a marriage song. So please remember this point. Then this is modeled on Chaucer's Parliament of Fowls. Chaucer wrote a work, Parliament of Fowls, and on this work of Spencer was dedicated. This work was modeled, and another important point in this is this was written as having 365 lines, and these 365 lines represents 365 days of the year, and 24 stanzas are there in this work, and these 24 stanzas represents 24 hours of midsummer's day. So these are the points to remember. These are very important points from this work. Then fifth work is Astrophel, a pastoral elegy upon the death of the noble and valorous knight Sir Philip Sidney. So this work was dedicated to Countess of Essex, Frances Walsingham. And who was she? Who was Frances Walsingham? She was Philip Sidney's wife. She was Philip Sidney's wife, and this work was dedicated to Frances Walsingham. So the second point is there is a elegy in this work. This is the part of uh, this is the part of this work, Astrophel. The name of elegy is the doleful lay of Clorinda. This is elegy written in this work. And the second is autobiographical poem which was dedicated to Walter Raleigh, and autobiographical poem is Colin Cloud Come at Home Again. These are the important things to remember. Another work is Prothalmion. Prothalmion is the sixth work of Spenser, and the full title of Prothalmion is a spousal verse in honor of the double marriage of Lady Elizabeth and Lady Catherine Somerset. And this is also a nuptial song, marriage song. Then poem starts with description of themes. This is also question from net. uh, Once a question came in net exam that from which word, which river name Prothalmion was started. So the name of the river is Thames River. By Thames River, river's description it was started. So it is a point of remembering. So then it begin with the quotation, sweet Thames, run softly till I end my song. And this line was taken from T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. And by this description, this work was started. So these are important points from this work. Then he wrote four hymns. Here the spelling of four is Fowre. So this is the point. Then he wrote The Fairy Queen, the most important work of Edmund Spenser, and many questions we can see in many exams from this work. So it is very, very important to give our time in this work. So there are six books in Fairy Queen. The first three books was published in 1590, and the remaining three books was published in 1596. So it is very important to remember the year of the publication of Fairy Queen. The first three books was published in 1590, remaining was published in 1596. Another point is it was written in blank verse. It was written in blank verse, and it was written in the praise of and dedicated to Queen Elizabeth. It was written in allegorical form. Allegory होती है कि when when characters denotes some other characters, like allegory, they are imitating other actors, other persons, and they are representing the life of some peoples, like we can say that some works are written in the imitation of the real life of the another person. So these type of works are allegory, when they imitate others behavior and other people. So this is allegory form. And it was written in Spenserian stanza. Basically Spenserian stanza had 9 lines. And then Spencer's aim to write this work was, what was the aim, why Spencer wrote this work? The aim was fashion the gentleman or noble person in virtuous and gentle discipline. Then Fairy Queen, in Fairy Queen he wants to write 24 books, and this reference we can get from a letter which was written by him to Walter Raleigh. And in this letter he wrote that I want to write 24 books in Fairy Queen, but he he only finished 6 books, and seventh book was incomplete, and the name of the seventh book was Mutability Canto. The name of the seventh book is Mutability Canto. So 12 books are supposed to be based on 12 virtues and begin with the invocation of three muses. The first is Clio, goddess of poetry; Cupid, god of love; Venus, goddess of beauty. These three muses are used in this work. And there is a famous line from this prologue. The famous line is, fires, wars, and faithful loves shall moralize my song. So these are important point to remember for this. In Fairy Queen, there are 6 books which was completed by him, and the title of these books are Red Cross Knight, which represent holiness and truth. Second is Sir Guyon, which represents temperaments. Third is Brito March, female knight, which represents chastity and purity. Fourth is Triamond Cambello for friendship, article for justice, and cardigal for courtesy. So these are the 6 titles of books. Then Fairy Queen modeled on Orlando Furioso, and it was influenced by Morte d'Arthur, which was written by Thomas Mallory. Elizabeth was represented as Belphoebe and Gloriana in this work, and it is epic celebration of Queen Elizabeth and Protestant faith. These are very very important points from this work to remember. So there are some allegorical characters in this work which represents something else. So these are called allegorical characters, जो किसी ट्रेट को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. These type of characters are called allegorical characters. So the first is Arthur. Arthur represents magnificence. Fairy Queen represents Queen Elizabeth. Una represents beauty, humbleness, and truth. Duessa represents negative, falsehood, beloved of Red Cross Knight. Archimago represents sorcerer. Sorcerer means nemesis, and it is called nemesis of England. Amoret, married love of Una. And Celia is a mistress of house of holiness. Orgoglio represents pride and giant. Dragon represents pope and papal power. Arcasia represents honor of bower of bliss, and Buscrane represents evil sorcerer. So these are the allegorical characters which is important to remember. There are many characters in this work, but these are some important characters to remember. In which genre it was written, this is a moral, religious, historical, and allegorical of justice, allegory of justice. This is the genre which in which it was written. Then only prose work written by him is View of State of Ireland, and it reviews the law, custom, religion of Ireland. So now Edmund Spenser is finished. This is all about Edmund Spenser, and some important points we have discussed in this video. And in part 3 we will discuss about another writer of this age, Christopher Marlowe. So that's it for today, and thank you. If you like my videos, please subscribe my channel and give positive comments so that I can give more and more lectures on this topic. So thank you for today.